It's been so long since you smiled. Tell me where you left an empty child. Oh, let's have a feast on those who least expected this. The time is now, I swear we won't regret it. Won't regret it. To the light, I got tunnel vision sight. I got higher than I like, too pretentious to rectify. Looking back, I know you tried. No, but does it still possess your life? Let's go out and get electric one more time. Everything in the world could be as we left it. Yeah, as we left it. Yeah, we're sleeping under stars in the shelter of the dark. Addicted, addicted. Yeah.
Live from the Lanier Raceplex here tonight is the Quarantine Classic 400 presented by the NSQMRA Quarter Midget Racing Association. This is race number 2 of the 3, I believe, that are currently going on. We appreciate you tuning in here to the Racing Line Broadcasting Network here for the sights and sounds for tonight. It's a pleasure to have you here tonight for this afternoon, bringing you the action, of course, in the essentially the one-man crew over here, both commentary and production. I am Gary Weaver. I appreciate you again tuning in here tonight as practice is currently underway for the time being. 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining just about here for this session that is currently going on. And then we will get to about 4 to 5 heat races. I believe it is going to be 4 heat races maximum for tonight's event. It'll be a 5-minute warm-up, and then it'll be about 4 heat races, a consolation, a last chance qualifier essentially, a 5-minute warm-up, and then it's your 40-lap feature event here for tonight. So tonight is pretty stacked. We have currently 28 drivers or so, 29 drivers actually I should say, currently scheduled here to race for tonight's race 2 in tonight's session. And be able to find out who is driving what car number here tonight in terms of the timing tower that you see on the right-hand side of your screen. Not only does it do car numbers, but also does the gap. And, well, speaking of which, we can take a look at the current times that have been put up on the board, or at least the gap in between. And you see Anthony Searles with a just about 0.03 seconds or so, just over just exactly 0.021 seconds in the pole position, of course. But this is for the practice session, and there's no qualifying as far as I am aware for this event. No qualifying is in the terms of the next 4 heat races, a consolation race, which is a last chance qualifier, and then the 5-minute warm-up, which is where we will take a break after that, and then we'll get a 40-lap feature event here for tonight. Currently just watching these drivers make their rounds here at Lanier Speedway, as we currently await the continuous countdown here and the anticipation for the heat races. For tonight, just to mention that the heat races, as of now by iRacing, is scheduled, or is predicted and currently set to be 4 drivers make it to the feature. So 4 drivers from each heat race, the top 4, will be making it to the feature. So 16 drivers in total will be racing into tonight's feature event. And it is currently predicted by iRacing to be the winner of the consolation to make it onto the feature, but that of course is subject to change by iRacing, so it will not just be 17 drivers, I'm assuming, making it to the feature event. iRacing will adjust that accordingly, and I will update you once I know about that. Just after heat race number 4 is when we'll bring this screen that you see right now back up, just so we can double check everything and make sure that everything is indeed correct and all set. 30 seconds remain until the first of 4 heat races here tonight. Proud to bring you all of the action relatively pretty much commercial free, aside from the aside from the warm-up, I should say. So the anticipation continues to rise as the heat race, as the warm-up will now come to an end here at Lanier, and we'll see who will race their way in. Again, it is currently the top 4 drivers of each heat race that will advance to the feature automatically. Drivers that do not make it in will go to the consolation event, the last chance qualifier, and we will go from there. So currently heat race number 1 is now up. And we'll see who your starting 10 drivers will be here for tonight. is going to be in order. It's going to be Matt Erickson in the number 16, the 992 of Rose Cox. Alicia James starting in P3. Dennis Gardner starts in position number 4. Rounding out the top 5 is going to be your your fastest driver of the warm-up, going to be Anthony Searles, keeping in mind that the warm-up was an hour, so the track has changed since then. Matthew Bennett in the number 20 starts off in position number 6. Position 7 goes to the 55 of Tristan Thrasher. Robert Johnson starts off in position number 8, and rounding out the 10-car field here tonight is Alex Damon and Anthony Lewis. So it looks like Dennis Gardner will not make it to the grid, so it will be 9 drivers now racing in for your Consolation event, depending on when the pace car pulls off, and there it goes. So Dennis Gardner will be making it to the Consolation event, at least for now, unless the 12 chooses not to race for tonight. Few pace laps here around Lanier, and then it is green flag racing. This currently is race 2. This is what this event is. And yes, these are the kids. The handlers and the owners will be racing a little bit later on tonight. As the green flag flies, 8 laps here in heat race number 1. 4 spots are up for grabs by 9 drivers here already. And it's a mad dash towards turn number 1. The 18 of Alicia James. Actually, no, Matt Erickson hard into the outside wall. A quick spin, and it was so quick, actually, that the caution does not come out, surprisingly enough. So Matt Jackson currently out for the time being. It's a huge 4-car crash entering turns 1 and 2. Caution not flying for whatever reason by iRacing. And it looks like the timing tower is a bit incorrect, so apologies for that. That's over with the software for now for some odd reason. So it's Anthony Searles currently in position number 4, not Dennis Gardner, who did not grid. I believe it's something with ATVO's scoring where it does not completely remove them out of their starting position. But right now it's Alicia James in first place, Matthew Bennett second, third place Anthony Lewis, Anthony Searles in fourth place, fifth place is going to be Robert Johnson, and they will be racing their way in for the time being. So it's going to be a race between these two for position number 4 with 4 laps to go. This time by 3 laps to go, I should say, at the start-finish line, as Alicia James continues to lead the field here through turns 1 and 2. It's going to be a close race here off turn number 2 for position number 3, I believe. Nope, actually that is incorrect. That is a lap car to the inside. That is number 26, and a quick spin for Matthew Bennett. He goes around but relatively keeps it going forward, and it's going to be a race now for P3, and that's immediately over. Matthew Bennett has 2 laps coming to 1 lap here at the start-finish line, where it is going to be the final lap here of the race. Alicia James at this point will definitely make it into the feature event. Anthony Lewis as well will finish second, making it in. Anthony Searles will also make it in. And Matthew Bennett comes off to number 4. He will also make it into the feature event. The drivers that did not finish here in the top 4 will advance to the Consolation event, the last chance qualifier. As far as I am aware, Race 1 and Race 3 are not being broadcast, unfortunately. As far as I know, it is just Race 2, which is being broadcast here on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network, as Heat Race number 2 will now go up for the grid. Jason Clark starts off in first place in the number 9. David Courier starts off in second in the number 22. Eric Lashley starts in third in the number 4th. I'll go to Matt Damasak in the number 48 machine. Kimberly Hodge rounds out the top 5 for this field. Billy Scott starts off in 6th place. 7th place will be Joe Anderson. 8th place, Camden Hibbett. And 9th place will be William goodness gracious. I'm definitely going to mispronounce this last name, so I apologize. I believe that is Sawalage. And then Michael Rosselli rounds out the 10-car field here for heat race number 2. It's me making a quick adjustment here to the overlay, and we'll see if we can get this to display the correct drivers in order. And we'll do our best here for the time being. Until then, another 2 pace laps. A little bit of contact very early on. Many drivers here very eager to get going and underway, giving the pace car a very wide buffer here. Fortunately for Jason Clark, having a few connection issues, might have to at least fall to the back, but it looks like it sorted itself out for the time being. Pace car is about to pull off the racetrack. It'll be, and this field will be let loose for another 8 laps. And 13 unfortunately gets turned right at the start. Eric Lashley with a lot of bad luck early on already, and more bad luck as a lot of drivers are around off in turns 1 and 2. 11 to Billy Scott, and somewhere in the background, I believe that was the 48. Right now it's Joe Anderson currently sitting in the 4th place position. So Jason Clark currently sits P1. He will advance. Kimberly Hodge sits P2. They will also advance. Camden Hibbett sits P3. Also currently in line to advance. Joe Anderson is also in line to advance at the end of this second heat race here for tonight. Oh, hard contact. That's Jones Clark. He was in the lead. Sorry, Jason Clark. He was in the lead as well. Off turn number 4. Can he get back on the wheels? No, he'll have to take a tow. And that means the number 48 of Matt Damasak will be making it into the feature event for the time being. The 9 had to take a tow, unfortunately, into pit road. So that means the 48 will now advance into the feature event. Billy Scott, however, on the outside looking in, chasing down Matt Damasak for position number 4 for the time being. Currently riding on board with Billy Scott with 2 laps to go this time around. And it's going to be the 23 of Kimberly Hodge, who is currently leading at the white flag this time around. Camden Hibbett right on the gearbox, right in the back bumper, looking to take the win here for heat race number 2. Looks to the inside. It's going to be a drag race off turn number 2. Side by side they go. It's Camden Hibbett with a last lap pass to make it into the lead. Kimberly Hodge also advances. Matt Damasak goes through turns 3 and 4. He will advance to the feature event. So will Billy Scott in P4. So it's going to be heat race number 3 coming up. We're going to get the overlay restarted here and see if a quick fix has fixed one of the problems here with our timing tower. We'll get the race here back up in just a quick moment's time, as the field for heat race number 3 is now currently lined up in the form of Jackson Deli starting off in P1. P2 is going to be Casey Watson in the number 15 machine. And it's Lee O'Hearn in the number 24, starting off in position number 3. Joe Jordan starts off 4th. It would be the number 72 of Daryl Tidrick starting off in P5, but they did not grid. Warren Stanley, however, did start this race. Did grid. Will be starting in 6th place. 7th place would be Michael Campbell. They did not grid. And for some reason, 28 gets turned on the pace lap, but should be able to get back going around here in a few short moments. Right now will be 6 drivers racing for the top 4, 2 of which will not make it in as the green flag flies. We're down and away for another 8 laps here. Giving a little bit of time for the timing tower to restore itself as a 24, I believe. No, that's a 28. Well, that was a 28 for sure. A hard hit on the outside. And it's a 28 and the 24 on the outside looking in for the time being. And that means it is going to be number 89 looking at advancing here in position number 4. So we will be looking at a few more fixes here for the timing tower. Apologies once again. Right now it's Jackson Daly in position number 1, Casey Watson position 2, position 3. As it changes at the start-finish line, it appears it will be Blake Kincannon, I believe is how that's pronounced. Joe Jordan, number 29, is now in P4. Everyone else is currently a lap or more down, unfortunately, or did not start this event. Joe Jordan goes wide and up on 2 wheels. Still has time to make it around and get into the lead once again, however. Although just got put up down was Joe Jordan. Cannot get the Legends car refired, I don't think. And he will take a tow instead. It's Warren Stanley that's going to be in P4. Jackson Daly continues to make the rounds here as it is currently 2 laps to go for this number 94 machine. Off turn 4 will be the final lap as the white flag flies. 89 focused on just getting it to the end, but Jackson Daly will win and advance to the feature event. Blake Kincannon will also advance in number 89. Casey Watson also advances. Warren Stanley and Lee are racing for the final position. A bumper is given from the 24, and I think the 28 was just has reached the incident limit penalty, I believe. So that means it is the 24 that will advance into the feature event. So the final heat race number 4. Actually, no, we're going straight to the last chance qualifier, actually. Apologies for that. So it is now the last chance qualifier. 15 drivers will be gridding, and we'll see how many drivers have to make their way in, have to race their way in. It will be the top 8 drivers making their way into this feature race. And after this race, it will be a 5-minute warm-up. You see a starting lineup there on the right-hand side. All 15 drivers will be making their way into this Consolation event, 8 of which will be making it into the feature event. Relatively 20 or so laps scheduled, I believe. Just double-checking myself here. I believe it is a scheduled 20 laps, if I do remember seeing that correctly. So half the feature distance is going to be up here on the scoring tower, and yeah, that is correct. 20 laps remaining here, as we'll see what we can do in terms of our timing tower and readjusting that as we see fit in terms of what is working versus what is not working. So apologies for that as we get that sorted out right now. A few drivers have made contact already, I believe, and some have not fired their cars, unfortunately. Some may be having a bit of trouble firing their race cars. As the final pace lap here, as these drivers look to somehow make their way through. Somebody with a heavily smoking engine, unfortunately. We'll see who of your top 8 is going to be gridding. It's not all 15 drivers that are here. it will be 10 drivers racing their way in here for tonight's event. Sorry, 10 drivers racing overall, 8 of which will advance. Green flag flies for 20 laps here at Lanier. And loose on exit was somebody that was number 9. More bad luck for Jason Clark after flipping over early on. He currently sits 7th place right now after that spin, however. Might be able to make it in as everyone is racing and trying to figure out. Oh, hard hit for the 29. Just unfortunately did not make that corner at all. And at this point, I believe might relatively be out of this event. But Robert Johnson right now currently in the lead for the time being. It'll be Michael Rosselli in 2nd place. 3rd place, Alex Damon. Matt Erickson sits 4th. Rose Cox sits in 5th place. Jason Clark 6th. 7th place, Tristan Thrasher. 8th place will be Joe Jordan, maybe, unless he has an engine problem. No, he does not. Eric Lashley, however, is going to be racing the number 29 for position. Oh, no, they both made contact. And unfortunately, Joe Jordan having a lot of problems with the handling so far. In front of the 26 he comes. That's Alex Damon that was sitting in position number 3. And it's a big wreck off turn number 4. Multiple drivers involved, unfortunately. So as Robert Johnson makes his way around the racetrack for the time being, we'll see how the finishing standings sort themselves out here after this event, as we should be having our timing ticker fixed by then, but we will not reset it during this event. We'll reset it during the warm-up and see how that goes. Well, until then, it is currently Robert Johnson, Michael Rosselli, Matt Erickson is actually in pit road, so never mind. It will be now Rose Cox in position number 3. Position number 4 is Tristan Thrasher. Alex Damon has spun now off turn number 4. Still sits in position number 5. Might have a chance to get faster pair if possible. Might have a chance to make it in. Jason Clark, unfortunately, still having some issues. Same with a 992 of Rose Cox. Robert Johnson is still just continuing to set the laps here as Johnson and Rosselli continue to make their way around the racetrack. 26 running with the smoking engine might not work out too well, and we'll see how exactly the entire top 8 will get filed out here, as it looks to be Eric Lashley, from what I'm seeing, is going to be advancing for the time being. Currently sits needs to take a toe, unfortunately. Same with the same with the 26. Apologies for that misstep in my words, but right now Robert Johnson, coming into 8 laps to go, might be able to make it here. We'll see how this goes. Again, apologies for the timing tower. That should be reset here during the next warm-up. Until then, Robert Johnson continues to set the laps. Mike Rosselli not too far behind, about a second back. And number 9, you see Jason Clark sits 2 laps down, as shown on the timing tower, but still going to advance at the most. And I believe the timing tower is relatively sorted out the top 8 for the time being. 6 laps to go, and that could be... we could be looking at a race for the lead here in these final few laps. Let's see what the last times were between Rosselli and Johnson at the start-finish line. You see at the bottom there, last lap, well, that was the last time around. This time, I was a 15.019, and 0.2 of a second faster, give or take, or a thousandth of a second or so, is going to be Michael Rosselli. So Johnson has continued to set the pace throughout this event, and with 3 laps to go, it's looking to be the number 6 for this entire event. As he comes off turn number 2, Rosselli follows not too far behind with 2 laps to go. Jason Clark sits P3, and the final spot on the podium, Alex Damon has Alex Damon has finally made his way back out on the racetrack after getting a few repairs and a tow, I believe a quick repair as well. You saw Jason Clark in the background there get a little bit loose off turn number 2, heading onto the back straightaway. But as it is now, the final lap is going to be Robert Johnson rounding turns 3 and 4, coming off to number 4 to finish this race and advance to the feature. Same with Michael Rosselli. Jason Clark also advances. Same with Alex Damon. You see on the timing tower it's going to be Rose Cox, Tristan Thrasher, and Matt Erickson in 5th, 6th, and 7th. 8th place will be Eric Lashley, I believe, advancing, just going off of what we have seen. So as we have a quick 5-minute break, we're not going to take all 5 minutes for a commercial break, but we will come back with your starting grid for this event here. It's going to be the Quarantine Classic 400 presented by the New Smyrna Quarter Midget Racing Association here on the Racing Live Broadcasting Network. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Coming up to the line, being chased, and it was Braden Johnson. Unbelievable finish. It was 1/1000th of a second between them.
Green flag in the air. We are racing in the 2020 24 Hours of Daytona.
They go door to door for the feature race lead here on the last lap of the race. Side by side for the race lead in the final corner at Homestead.
Down the back straightaway, 3 wide again for the race lead. This is unbelievable stuff here tonight.
Loma is going to have to be very deep on the brakes, and he is very deep on the brakes. It's side by side through the corner. This is for the win.
It'll be side by side. Davies low, Ottinger high. To the very inside is Garrett Low. 4 wide at the stripe. For all he's with here on this outside line, neck and neck. Who's going to back out? Does anyone back out? Verstappen starts to squeeze on the inside, and now he'll try and straight line it. Goes under the apron. Drag race to the line. It's so close to call.
We got big time problems with that motor, buddy. Hey, just between you and me, the idea is to avoid the other cars. Congratulations! You just set the sport back 30 years with that move. That move will put you in the Hall of Shame. You keep doing stuff like that and we're going to lose our sponsor. Looks like that's it for us today. Now I know why you got canned by your old team. It's over. We can't fix that damage. You'll need a tow back to pit lane, press and hold your reset button, and we'll come and get you.
You can catch the K&N, the official iRacing National Series broadcasted by the Racing Line Broadcasting Network here on Saturdays at 3:45 p.m. Eastern Time and see the new damage model in all of its glory. With 20 seconds remaining here in the warm-up, it is going to be the 40-lap feature event here at Lanier. This is race 2 of the, I believe, 3 that are currently going on. Again, this is race number 2 of the Quarantine Classic, presented by the New Smyrna Quarter Midget Racing Association here on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network. So, as warm-up ends, it is going to be a 20-car field here for your 40-lap event. Pending that the starting grid appears correctly, we shall see your starting grid. It is going to be Alicia James starting off in position number 1. Starting off in position number 2 to Alicia's outside is going to be Camden Hibbett. Starting P3 is going to be Jackson Daly. Anthony Lewis starts off in the 4th place position. Rounding out the top 5, it will be Kimberly Hodge. Starting off in 6th, Blake goodness gracious, apologies for this. Blake, unfortunately, it's going to be Blake K, whose name I unfortunately cannot pronounce at the time, but Blake will be starting off in P6. Anthony Searles starts off in 7th. 8th place, Matt Damasak. 9th place, Casey Watson, and rounding out the top 10 halfway through the field is going to be Matthew Bennett. Starting off in 11th, it is the number 11 of Billy Scott. Lee O'Hearn starts off in the number 24 machine in position number 12. Robert Johnson starts 13th with Michael Rosselli to Robert's outside in 14th. Jason Clark rounding out the top 15 here as 16th place is occupied by Matt Damon. Eric Lashley starts off in 17th. 18th place rounded out by Joe Jordan. And it would be Alex Damon and David Courier rounding out positions 19 and 20, but unfortunately they did not grid here. So it's going to be 18 drivers racing essentially for bragging rights here at Lanier. Just a quick mention as well, if you're interested in sponsoring the Racing Line Broadcasting Network, you can have your advertisement here, sponsored here, and you contact facebook.com/Racing Line Broadcasting Network, as you see up there in the top bar. Sponsorship slots are $25 per slot, and we appreciate you giving me time here to race us. Oh, unfortunately they wrecked and we did not get going. Well, nonetheless, they are down and away, but not sure if a caution will be called, and there it is. Caution called as soon as possible, as the initial pace laps cannot be called off or halted on the iRacing service. So a quick caution is unfortunately someone that must have missed a shift or just did not get going, unfortunately. We'll take a look at what exactly had happened here. Not sure if caution laps count or not. We'll see here at the start-finish line as we will get the replay set up for you here. Field has yet to, field is waiting for the pace car actually as that comes around the outside lane. We'll take a look and see what had happened here on your restart. Not entirely sure what happened, but must have been a missed shift or something. It did involve the number 32 of Camden Hibbett. And we'll be holding off on the replay for the time being, as it looks like it's a few technical issues over on this side. But we should be able to get the replay up for you here. 32 and 2 on the outside lane, and looks like just a bit too eager was the number 2 and lost control as well. That spun the 32 around, and essentially a few other drivers spinning as well from what had happened. And it looks like caution laps do count for the regular laps. We'll be going back to your live pictures here in just a quick moment time. Luckily here for Lanier, caution laps are incredibly short due to the fact that this is, of course, a very, very short track. So not a lot of time. We'll be waiting for the green flag. Lights will remain on the pace car, will remain active around the racetrack as well, as unfortunately a few drivers look to be having a few complications with handling there in the background as well. Once again, this is race number 2 of the Quarantine Classic presented by the New Smyrna Quarter Midget Racing Association. Good luck saying that 3 times fast. But for now, lights will go off and will be going green with 34 laps remaining here. Race number 2 of the Car Owner Virus 401 will be after this race as well. Start time, of course, is subject to change, but you will be able to find that on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network, or if you came from the NSQMRA Facebook page, you'll be able to find it there as well. Green flag flies as we are back underway, and contact behind one lone spinner. It's number 20 of Matthew Bennett, but he gets back going into a huge crash off turn number 2. All the way down the back straightaway, it is the big one here at Lanier, unfortunately. Everyone involved still making contact, unfortunately, just trying to scramble and find just any opening on the racetrack that they can get through. Someone's stuck upside down. Not sure who that is, but they'll definitely have to take a tow, unfortunately. Back under caution, we'll see what exactly was the cause of that after we saw the lone spin of the number 20, or at least the ending of that, off of turn 2. So, very wild restart, and looks like, taking another look here off turn number 2, looks like it had unfortunately started with the number 11, as the replay is now up on screen. Had moved up the racetrack just slightly and a bit too early, and unfortunately that's what the massive incident was for. So unfortunately 11 moving up the racetrack very quickly, and someone coming in full speed ahead, unfortunately, the number 20 it seems. And that is the cause for your second caution here for tonight. Going back to live pictures momentarily in just a couple of moments. Lights on the pace car will remain on for this next lap. I believe they will be, they're getting 2 to green this time by. But just as a reminder, coming up next on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network a little bit later on today, maybe about an hour or so from now, give or take, maybe 30 or so minutes, it will be the Car Owner Virus 401. Also, it will be race 2 of that being broadcast here on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network. Looks like the restarts will now be single file for the field. Pace car getting ready to pull off the racetrack and give the field, or put the field back in control of the number 23 of Kimberly Hodge. Pace car is down, green flag is out, and already the field very much spread out. Alex Damon looks for the inside lane, but it will not happen here. Off of turn number 2 they come. And caution is out, not sure where at, but multiple drivers involved. 2 drivers involved, the 15 and the 24. It's Casey Watson and Leo Hearn off turn number 4. Apologies for the loss of speed there for a quick moment. Not sure if that was on this end or the end of iRacing, but regardless, back under caution, we'll see what the cause was and what exactly had happened here to bring out, I believe, the 3rd caution of the day. So it looked to be a feed that was lost on this side, unfortunately. So, but it looks like we did manage to catch the cause of the caution here in the middle of turns 3 and 4. 24, very rightly so. You can use the apron. Both drivers just going for the same real estate there in turns 3 and 4. And unfortunately, quick spin has brought out that caution. But of course, it does happen even to the best of drivers as well. So really no fault on their part. Back to live pictures once again. And more than likely, restarts will also be single file here as well, as lights on the pace car will remain on for this next lap. A little bit more information as well on sponsorships for the Racing Line Broadcast Network. Again, $25 per race. You can have the advertisement here on the timing tower, but not just here. You can have it at the halfway point specifically. You can sponsor the final lap. You can have your advertisement appear at the beginning and ending of the race, so essentially a race-wide advertisement, a broadcast-wide advertisement, I should say. And you can also have your advertisement appear in the double-wide segment, which appears which can appear just under on the bottom left side of the screen. So if you're interested, contact facebook.com/Racing Line Broadcasting Network, and you can also see upcoming events from there as well. Green flag flies once again, back underway. Just before halfway, and Alex Damon charging towards the inside lane. Might make a move for the lead here, entering turns 3 and 4. Not enough momentum as of yet, as it is essentially a little bit of a scramble here for positions across the racetrack. Your top 3 seem relatively spread out as we come to halfway, and looks to be the 9 again, having more bad luck. Jason Clark just not having the best of luck up there on the left-hand side of the screen. I believe that was just a near miss there off turn number 2, but a lot of lap traffic being occupied here on the racing surface. That 15 is one of those drivers that are a lap or more down, unfortunately. And Alex Damon trying to get by, dives way down to the inside lane, maybe a bit too much, and both drivers go for the same real estate, unfortunately. Caution might come out. There it is, as there's another quick spin in the back. But the 26 might be able to retain that second place position, depending on when the time of the caution was called. Replay coming up once again here in just a couple of moments' time, as we'll get a different angle of what we have seen here. Looking back again through the footage to find another angle of what had happened there. Looks like 26, yeah, it was just 2 drivers going for the same real estate, essentially. It happens once again here, entering turns 1 and 2. I'll take one more look as well, as I believe the 26 has decided to call it a night and retire the car. Just another unfortunate accident here at Lanier, as we'll go back to live pictures, as the lights on the pace car will remain on. More than likely 2 laps to go here under this caution period. Upcoming broadcasts, of course, on the Racing Line Broadcast Network will consist of roughly 30 to 45-minute races on Saturday afternoons at 3:45 p.m. Eastern Time. And that is, of course, the iRacing National Series, the official series as well, the top split, being brought to you by the Racing Line Broadcasting Network for free as well. So would really appreciate it if you'd like to see a new damage model in action as well there. They go to Kansas, I believe, for this Saturday, 35 laps under the lights for week number 3. Until then, though, green flag flies with 13 laps to go here at Lanier. Kimberly Hodge continues to pace the field as they go down through turns 1 and 2, down the back straightaway, now through turns 3 and 4, near contact by the 29 as well. That's going to be in front of the entire field, unfortunately. That's Joe Jordan. More bad luck, as the caution has not been called. There was such a quick spin and actually out of the way of everybody. Relatively everyone is okay for the most part. Kimberly Hodge tries to dodge the way around, although Camden Hibbett, unfortunately, may have gotten turned. Caution comes back out here at Lanier with 11 laps to go, coming to 10 laps to go. once we get fully back under caution and the pace car is out in front of the field. Looking through, we'll see what had happened here to at least the number 32, and looks like it was just timing of coming back onto the racetrack at the wrong time for the number 29, unfortunately. Tries to get refired, tried to get back going, but unfortunately, I was in front of two lead drivers, both the 98 and the 32, so definitely another cause of the caution there, unfortunately, here at Lanier. Is 9 laps to go currently here on the raceway. So we'll be going back green here with relatively 6 laps to go. The lights on the pace car remain on this time around. But for now, looks like Kimberly Hodge may have this race in the bag for the time being. And once again, just a quick reminder, the car owner virus 401 race 2 as well will be up in about 1 hour or so. Again, start time is relatively subject to change depending on how and when this race finishes, but there will be roughly about an hour or so break in between now and then. Sorry, at the completion of this race and the start of the next broadcast, I should say. Of course, keep an eye on the start time on that YouTube page as well. If you're interested in the future broadcasts here of the Racing Line Broadcasting Network, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well. Make sure to select all instead of personalized so you don't really miss a single event here. As lights are out on the pace car, it will be a 5-lap shootout actually for this race. Kimberly Hodge has been great on restarts. Does Robert Johnson have anything for the number 23 here? As we get going green and the pace car pulls off, or as the pace car pulls off rather, green flag flies. And a great start by Kimberly Hodge once again, just nailing the restarts as the flash bulbs go off. Robert Johnson on a hard charge, trying to get to the back bumper and find any momentum possible as 4 laps remain here at Lanier. As a ride on board Kimberly Hodge, it might just be the number 23, although Robert Johnson may have found a little bit of momentum there off turn number 4, as we see that number 6 slowly getting larger and larger, but also falling back a little bit, so it might be the 23 being better in turns 3 and 4 as compared to the number 6, although they may have evened out for the time being. 3 laps to go, about a half second separates your front 2 runners at the start-finish line. Navigating around the outside of the lot traffic that may have messed up Robert Johnson's line, and it has. So that means, at least for the time being, it could be Kimberly Hodge looking at the win here on the final lap. Off turn number 2, does Robert Johnson have anything? It does not appear to be so. Kimberly Hodge at number 23 rounds turn number 4 and wins the Quarantine Classic 400, race number 2, presented by the New Smyrna Quarter Midget Racing Association. Robert Johnson finishes second. Third place is Camden Hibbett. Waiting for the race to fully complete before we go anywhere and before we give you your finishing results for this race. It looks like the race is now officially over, and your finishing results ladder are as follows. Kimberly Hodge started 5th place and, well, stayed up front in the top 5 for relatively the entire race. Finishes in 1st place. Robert Johnson started in 13th place, made his way all the way up to P2. A great job by that number 6 machine. Camden Hibbett rounds out the top 3. Didn't really go anywhere in terms of the podium positions. Only falls 1 position. Eric Lashley finishes in 4th place after making their way up from 17th position. An amazing job by the number 13 machine. Anthony Searles finishes in 5th. 6th place goes to Blake Kincannon 7th place, Jackson Daly, I believe, or Jackson Dial. 8th place, Casey Watson. 9th place is Matt Damasak, and 10th place rounded out by Michael Rosselli. On the second half of your field is Anthony Lewis, Joe Jordan in 11th and 12th respectively. Leo Hearn finished 13th. Alex Damon 14th. 15th place goes to Matthew Bennett. Alicia James finishes in 16th. 17th place is Alex Damon. Jason Clark finishes 18th. 19th place goes to Billy Scott. And David Courier, unfortunately, did not start this event, but was scheduled to start 20th and did finish in 20th. So we are not done yet here on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network. While this broadcast will end, make sure to keep an eye on either the Facebook page of the New Smyrna Quarter Midget Racing Association for the Coronavirus 401 for when that race goes up, or just make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure that you are known, or that you are notified of the next race. So until the next main broadcast that we usually do weekly is on Saturday for the iRacing National Series at 3:45 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're unable to watch the second event, at least for now, well, thank you for tuning in. We hope to see you next time, especially this Saturday. But if you are going to be here for the next event, we hope you stay tuned on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network. And until then, we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.